What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of No Reserves Radio. I'm your host, Angelo, and today we're going to be doing, because it's Christmas, we're going to be doing both our fantasy and our regular football show in one episode. So if it seems jumbled, that's why. Alex, how was your week?
Hey, how's it going, guys? Fine week of football, which I didn't get to see a whole lot. I watched parts of it. I missed most of the early Sunday games. I've been catching up on those. And fantasy football, the two leagues that I care the most, wins, baby.
So the Browns Bears game got blacked out for me, and I was never so happy to have a game blacked out before this.
Which games did you get?
I only got the Cardinals 49ers.
Oh, okay. Well, you got to see points at
I got to
least.
see Christian McCaffrey. Yeah, that's what I got to see. But so I went to Indiana the last week. I actually just got back, and I cannot believe this. So this is how much wrestling influences my family. We went to a steakhouse, okay,
Okay.
and my sister did the reservation. So
Yes.
when they went to call the reservation, my dad goes up to the hostess. This poor. You know what? We're just gonna make this an explicit. This is the Christmas show. Congratulations, this poor fucking hostess. Um, he requested. Do you want to hear this? He requested. So like when you go to a restaurant and there's a queue, they'll be like, Alex, table of six, stuff like that.
Yes.
They'll call your name and whatever your party number is. So
Yes.
my dad requested this poor hostess say tribal chief party of six. I can't take them anywhere, dude. Like,
Oh my
and
god,
this was a
I
nice
can
restaurant.
only imagine.
This wasn't like some local. This was a nice restaurant he did this in. I was just like, I can't believe this shit. I cannot believe this shit.
Oh my god.
I I
I
just
can
I
only
just
imagine the scenes.
I just envision like if we ever get canceled, it'll be because my dad does some shit like that where he because I'm white as fuck, so it's gonna be some white guy tries to call himself a tribal chief. I'm just like, oh my god, no, no, no. Oh,
Oh my god. I can only imagine your cringe level looking at
it's
that.
so bad. I apologize. I was like, don't say that. I'm so sorry. I apologize to the fucking hostess. I can't.
Uh, she's like,
Uh,
no, it's just not good. Like, give him a break.
I knew that's not the only thing that referenced the tribal chief. So, my fucking brother-in-law so we went golfing after my stepsister did her thing. We went golfing, okay? And he
Did it went
put,
well?
huh?
Just regarding your sister. Did
Yeah,
it
yeah,
went well?
she's fine. She's
Okay,
fine. I'm not
perfect.
trying to put her
Perfect.
business out there. She's fine.
Yeah,
But
perfect.
we got two golf carts, and my freaking brother-in-law put a portable speaker. He mounted it, or he mounted it somehow to the golf cart, and he had the fucking AI text to speech like announce each of us as we're at the tee box. And for my dad, he put, now entering the tee box, your tribal chief. And then I was like, oh my god, at a golf course, dude, at a golf course. This was my week. This was my week.
Oh my god.
This was my week. This, I I just
And just some random guy being introduced
Bro,
as tribal chief.
some random old white guy. Like, oh man, dude. So anyway, that was my week. I slept for 12 hours yesterday because I was exhausted from all the travel. Something I learned. So like apparently overseas, the amount of travel time that you consider a long trip is different from whether you're from Europe or you're from the US. So like what is a 6 hour drive to you?
Yeah, that's like I don't think unless I go like from the north, like the upmost north of the country to the upmost south of the country, that might be 6 hours, and we feel like that's a pretty big drive.
That's one state
Other
to
than that,
another
like
state to me.
yeah, like usually, for example, my city is pretty in the middle of Portugal. So if I go to the north, to Porto, which is one of the bigger cities in the country, it's usually a 3 hour drive, and it's considered quite long for
Hmm.
our standards. And the same thing if we go downwards to Algarve, where all the beaches are at, where people mostly go during the summer, especially tourists. That's usually a 2.5, 3 hour drive, most likely. So yeah, like 6 hours, it's probably like from the very top of the country to the very bottom, and would be considered quite long, yeah.
Yeah.
But you guys seem to do it like fairly okay-ish. It's like, oh, it's a 6 hour drive. Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, we really do not operate like that. I mean, 6 hours took me to get like from where I'm at, yeah, to Spain when I went down to Sevilla.
Mm.
Seville for you guys. I believe that was roughly what it took me. Perhaps even a little bit less, like 5.5, something like that. Five and a half. So yeah, and that's like from one country to another.
Mm. Okay.
Yeah, you guys seem to operate like I always get that response because when I see like the differences in terms of traveling and the miles or kilometers that one takes to make such trip, it's always like, yeah, but for Americans that's like an okay drive because it's like one state to another, and I'm like, what? And then I hear some people like, oh yeah, I just have to go like 2 or 3 states. It's just 2 or 3 states drive, and I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's what, like 12 hours. From 12 hours, I go from like here to France, for example.
Yeah.
So, and that's like I go through a whole another country. So I go
So
from my country, I have to cross Spain, and then I reach France.
so here's a question because I have coworkers who normally do like the main manager in my store drives an hour every day just to get to work. You guys don't do things like that?
Uh, Not driving per se. I would say that most people would do that, but it's like by train. So whenever I
By
go to the
train.
office, yeah, whenever I go to the office, I can take the train, which I usually do, like 99% of the time, or I can go by car. It's roughly an hour whichever way we go. And it's like from a city down in the center to the capital. So an hour trip is usually okay for work, I guess, but it's still like a bit of a push for us. We don't like for my example, I would much rather just stay at home, and I dread the one day that I go to the office because of the trips, because it's like it's 1 hour to go, it's 1 hour to come back, and then it's roughly what, like 30 minutes in like subways and other public transportations. So yeah, like 1 hour is usually doable, but it's usually by train. And you seem to
Interesting.
be surprised by that.
Yeah, no. There is no
There's
like if
no like trains that do that there.
not where I'm from. That
Okay.
it's more of a big city thing. Like when I go to Cleveland, there's a transit to get around the city, but
Hmm.
like if I wanted to take a train from where I am to Cleveland, I couldn't.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, I have to go from like where I'm currently at to the bigger city, but it's like 10 minutes by driving by car. So for you
Uh-huh.
guys, it's probably like your distance from work or something like that. But it's to go to
Yeah,
the city which has the train station. And but you can basically make like from the north of the country to the south of the country by train with relative ease.
really.
Yeah.
Huh.
Then it's probably roughly 4.5 hours if you take the faster train. It's 4.5 hours roughly.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's much cheaper though.
Yeah, no, train tickets aren't that expensive even
Yeah.
here. Huh.
But you guys gas, you tend to really like be annoyed at the price, especially. But if I'm not mistaken, we have had this talk before in the chat, and it seems like the prices here are even much higher than you guys.
Oh yeah,
Because
no,
how
no,
much do you
they don't
usually
even
have?
compare.
Yeah,
They don't
because you
even
guys are
compare, dude.
by gallon, and your 1 gallon it's like 4 liters almost.
Yeah, exactly.
So you usually it's what there by gallon.
Around $2, $3.
Okay, for gasoline, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So that's that like us for 1 liter, which is roughly a quarter of a gallon. It's around $1.70. So by gallon, that would put you at almost what?
Almost eight
Eight
dollars.
$8?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus, dude. No.
Yeah. And if you compare like
Are your
the
tanks
money that you usually
are
get, the
your tank
wages,
sizes smaller then?
I don't think so. Like for
So,
example, my car is not that big and it takes around what 40 liters if I'm not mistaken.
bro, you have a similar tank to me. Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no, 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 no. No.
Yeah, I know.
No.
And
No, I'm not paying $8 a gallon. Nah, get out
yeah,
of here with that.
so yeah, come to Portugal then.
Oh, to Portugal. No.
Yeah, like and especially when you compare the wages, it's nuts. It's like way too crazy.
No, if I'm
Because
not
like our
mistaken, don't you
minimum
guys
wage
have
here.
things like healthcare and education paid for?
Yes, education. It's like it's not totally paid for as of yet. Like college, it's not totally paid for yet, but it's much cheaper than you guys. For example, my course, my bachelor's degree, I guess that's the equivalent, had what? I spent roughly 3K on it.
There's some.
Probably much less, like the full.
Wait, for a whole like semester?
No, 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 no. For the full 3 to 4 years.
What?
Yeah,
There's books here that cost more than that.
yeah. And it's because like when I started, like the year costed roughly 1K a year. Now that my sister is in it and she's like studying to be a lawyer,
Hmm.
it's it's less than 600 euros a year.
That's so fucking crazy to
So
me.
that would put it at roughly 2.4K for the whole bachelor's degree.
Oh my god.
Then you have like the books, or I don't know, she spends roughly what? It's less than 200 euros on it.
You gotta be kidding me.
And like, yeah. So there's some benefits to it. Of course, when you go to the private schools, it's much higher. But in the public schools, yeah, it's lower than yeah, the healthcare is also free for the most part. But it has been degrading quite a bit as of late. So the like longer waits, hospitals closing down doors because we don't have the medics, the doctors, I guess. So yeah, like it's not a lot of roses. There's a few good things. There's a lot of bad things as well. But yeah, if you want to study, come to Portugal. You
Hmm.
just have to pay 8 euros a gallon.
That's crazy.
But like, yeah, then you look at the wages, for example, and it's like our minimal wage is roughly 750 euros a month. That's
An
like
hour, you mean?
all. things included. What? No, no, 750. That's what I
Oh,
meant.
okay, 750. Okay.
Yeah, like a month,
I make that.
which I would think
I don't make.
you
I
make
don't
that
think
it.
I make that much, but I make that in a paycheck. I make more than that in a paycheck.
Okay, yeah,
So
in a paycheck, and I'm guessing you get it by like week or something.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Okay, yeah. So it's like I would say that roughly 80% of the people live on the minimal wage here. And it's like then you compare the prices of houses, and it's like you're looking if you're looking at like the capital, you're looking a 1 or 2 bedroom apartment. You are never spending less than 900 to 1K a month.
Hmm.
So when you compare to the 750 that people make a month, 80% of the people make a month, then you're like, how are people living? But yeah,
So
it's
do
a
you
big issue here
also?
right now.
So is this also a thing? Do you also have a bunch of people who work two jobs to make a living?
Uh, some some do, but most of them do it like part times. So they have two part times because then you get most companies here pay the meal allowance that you get like when you work. I'm not sure
The
how
hell's a
that is
meal
called in
allowance?
English. It's like how do you call it? Like don't you get money to get like lunch, for example, in
No,
the work? No, you don't get anything like that.
no. You have
So you
to.
just get paid by the hour.
Yes.
You have no other benefits?
Where I work, no, you have to work at like McDonald's or like a restaurant to get that kind of benefit.
Oh, okay. So yeah, here you have, and this is included in the 750, by the way, the 750 that you get. Here people get, other than the wage, they have a few other benefits, like they get an extra month of pay in Christmas, they get an extra month of pay, yeah, in the summer. So you're basically paid like 14 times 750 if you're getting the minimal wage. And then you get like every single day. If you work more than or 8 hours, is it? I think it's 6 or 8. Then the company is demanded by law to pay you. I think it's like €7, a max of €7 a day. It's like
No,
a lunch supplement, I guess.
no. Time out, time out, time out, time out, time out,
Yeah.
time out, time out. So you're telling me you guys get fucking overtime the day you work over, not the week?
No, no. You get like it's like you get. Let's say I work in a company that does this, so I would get the €7 a day, but it's not given to me every single day. It's like I work 22 days during that month. Then
Hmm.
in my paycheck it comes 20 because most people here get the paycheck every single month, not like weeks. So
Oh,
then it's like when it comes the monthly
oh,
payment, then it's like your wage and then the other
oh.
supplements.
Okay, okay, okay. That makes
Yeah.
more sense. That makes
But
way
yeah,
more
I
sense.
didn't know that you guys didn't have that.
What we didn't have where we you like every
The whole meal
company.
thing. Yeah.
No, yeah. No, that's not something that's common around my area.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
sure it exists. Well, no, I know it exists because I've talked to people who work at McDonald's who say that there's something similar to that, but like it's not a common thing for at least around
Here,
here.
now that you're talking about McDonald's, the McDonald's doesn't actually give you that. They give you that in sort of like
What
food
do you
from
mean?
the company.
Yes.
So
That's
yeah,
what I was
you
referring
don't.
to.
Okay, yeah, no, people
Wait,
here
you can get
usually
whatever
get the
the
money.
fuck you want?
Yeah, you get money for it. You get like it's like the €7, and
The
it's like it comes.
fuck?
Some people even pay it. Some companies even pay it in like a card that you can use on like supermarkets, for example. But you
Fuck.
can only use it there. But you get more usually. For example, if you get it in your regular paycheck, you have a certain limit that you can get until you get taxed. You're not taxed. Let's say like the limit is five. If you get over five, you're taxed on everything over five. While if you get it on the card, then it's like you're only taxed after like eight, for example. If you get more than €8, everything over €8 is taxed. So some companies, because now they have some other like fiscal benefits if they do this, they pay you by card. So, but you can only use the card in like supermarkets. Then some supermarkets have gas bombs here, so you can use it to fill out your tank in some of them. But yeah, that's a thing that occurs. But yeah, you get the money. You don't get like the only places that do that. I believe it's McDonald's and the other fast food joints. But usually you get the money.
That's insane, dude. Like I've gotten a meal card before, like when I've traveled, but it's not like a normal everyday occurrence. Like that's
Okay.
just that's just a normal thing.
Yeah, this is just a normal thing if you go to work.
Oh my
So,
god.
like for example, I only go to the office once a week, so that's four times a month. I still get those benefits.
I'm asking how the fuck do you guys not live then? You're telling me your fucking food on lunch is paid for, your schooling is cheap as fuck, and you get free met like, and you
I
get like
mean,
these other different incentives like bonus. Dude,
okay, because
I'd be
then it's
I'd be
like,
just fine. Like holy shit, dude. Like
but then it's like when you're making like 750, right? You're making
yeah,
750, but that's with everything include. So those 750 is like after you make your social security discounts, or no, maybe it's even before that, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, that's before the security discounts, which is something else in your country. Probably it's not called this.
Social Security
It's
discounts. What?
yeah, it's like, and maybe you don't have it because this is a thing that it's like it's where you every single week, every single month, you like get taxed roughly, I believe it's 11% of your salary, and it
Yes,
goes
we have that.
to
It goes to Social
okay,
Security, yeah. And
yeah,
then you
Social
get that,
Security,
and you can only
exactly.
pull that after you're like 60 or 65 here at least.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah. Uh,
Yeah.
so it's like those 750, I believe it's pre that, so then you have to take out 11% of that, which makes it roughly 675 probably 675. And then it's like you have to pay for houses. If you live in the capital, that's roughly 1K. So you have to split houses. You're never like fully independent. Most people, like I believe the age in which they get out of their parents' house here, it's roughly 30 something, 33 if I'm not mistaken. The median is 33. So then it's like then it's the house, it's just that, but then you have the bills, you have the groceries. Like groceries are not at an all-time high. So when you look at, for example, 5 liters of olive oil, for example, any idea how much that costs here? Like if you had to take a guess, how much is it in the US, for example?
I was actually trying to think of that. If I had to guess, probably around 11 bucks.
So it depends on the brand. But for example, one regular one that is usually sold in most places, you're never spending under €30
Really?
on 5 liters of olive oil. Yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah. It's like groceries here are on an all-time high. So then it's like you go to the groceries for a month, you're spending like roughly €100. And then when you start to add up things, it's like, okay, just for living, like, yeah, like school is cheap and all of that. But then it's like 80% of the people still make the minimum wage. And like the median isn't that much higher. So it means that like the amount of people getting the minimum wage is just such a big amount. And then like the other 20%, it's not even that the other 20% make a lot. It's just that they make, for example, like they make, I don't know, roughly like 1K after taxes and all of that. That's
But
like
you don't have
having that.
billionaires there?
We have some, but it's like very few, and I'm not even sure if it's billionaires here. If it's like we have roughly what 8 million people living in Portugal,
Hmm.
so there's not a whole lot. I'm guessing there's a few. There's, of course, guys with big companies, especially the supermarkets. There's a few guys that have made big bucks on it, but it's like most people live on the minimal wage, and it's very rough to make ends meet
Hmm.
with that. Like
Sure.
because it's
Sure.
it's groceries are just so expensive, then the gas is expensive, then it's like yes you can take trains, but then if you're like on the smaller areas then everything is further away. For example, here I could not live without a car, even with the public transportation, because I don't have easy access to like subways. Subways only exist in like the big capitals, so it's only in Lisbon and it's only in Porto. You don't have anything else like that. You have buses, but buses in the small towns are usually like pretty limited in terms of time. For example, here, which is a small village in which I live in, it's like you have trains to take you to you have like buses to take you to the city, but they only come like I don't know 4 times a day, and it's like three of them are super early, and then one is in the afternoon. So it's very limited. Everything is very limited here. It's not super well developed, which is kind of a shame with the amount of money that we've been given in the last few years from the European funds. But yeah, some things are good. I would say that most things aren't great here. And when you leave here, you sort of start to realize that. You
Well,
seem to
that's a
you
somber way to start the episode.
it's like we just spent half an hour talking about politics, politics from like overseas and like cost of living overseas and like comparing two countries. So that's fun.
That was a thing. So, is there any football games you want to talk about?
I guess we can start by the injuries. No,
Sure.
there were a few, and I had them in my mind before we went off on this whole rant. Well,
Jamar
one of
Chase is
them,
one.
yeah, Jamar Chase is one. He has a separated shoulder, which, like, when you think about a separated shoulder, at least I did, it's like, oh, he's out for the year. And then I read and it's like, oh, this is best case scenario. Maybe he doesn't even miss a game. And I'm like,
What?
what? Dude doesn't have a shoulder, and it's like he's probably not even gonna miss a day because it's day to
There's
day.
no way.
And it's like, apparently Keenan Allen played with a separated shoulder for quite a while, I've learned. And it's like, that seems impossible,
Does seem
but
impossible.
apparently it isn't. But yeah, big injury if he does misses a few games. They did win the game, your Cincinnati Bengals, so they're still alive to make the
In the
playoffs.
touch with Jake Browning under center. Jake Browning continues to have 300-yard gains. It's fucking ridiculous, dude.
Yeah, and it's like he really turned into Joe Burrow there in the end. Like he
He
played
did.
pretty well in the end. It
T.
was
Higgins
looking
caught
rough.
2 touchdowns. It's like
Yes, it was looking rough, but he managed that second one. That was a beauty of a touchdown. I'm
thank
sure
you.
you saw it. This was all over my timeline, but it was a beauty of a touchdown. The one in which he caught it and he was going backwards because the defender was pulling on him, and he manages to like overextend his arm while he's falling. So like when his back is turned to the pylon, he manages to like just get that ball over. That was a pretty touchdown.
T. Higgins is just so good at contested catching. It's ridiculous, honestly. It's
Yeah,
ridiculous that we have both Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. It's kind of a cheat code.
yeah, for sure. Then in the game that happened prior to all of that on Thursday Night Football, Brandon Staley was fired finally.
Thank the Lord. Yes. My second my second team, apparently the Chargers can stop hurting me. Brandon Staley is no
Um,
more.
I mean, I got this sent to me by someone, And I wanted your take on this before I give
Okay.
my opinion. And
Okay.
it's like some person who tweeted this game, like the result of this game and the whole outcome that came out of it and the firing of Staley. And it's like, this shows that Herbert is a much better QB than Burrow. Because when Herbert
Whoa.
went down, like, this is what you get, like an absolute shit show. And when Burrow went down, Browning is holding the reins and it's getting wins. And like, what is your take on that? Does that prove anything for you?
Bullshit, dude. Get out of here with that. So I think if this proves anything, it's that the Cincinnati Bengals are a better run team, top to bottom, which is crazy to say considering our owner is freaking Mike Brown. But regardless, regardless of that, I think it's a better team and it's better run. Like that's just it.
Yeah, I think that's just that. I also thought it was an asinine take, to be honest, because like, yeah, I'm sure that if Burrow played, he wouldn't have allowed 63 points being scored. I'm sure. If Herbert would have played, my bad. I'm sure he wouldn't have allowed 63 points. Yeah, maybe he wouldn't have fumbled the ball away as much as the team did, but it's like it's a team thing. It's not
I don't think they
doesn't
would have
prove
scored.
anything.
I don't think they would
Yeah,
have scored 63 points, but I think that's more because of like Herbert has longer possessions because he knows he can't like just give the ball back to the defense.
but it's like fumbling. Well, the main issue was the fumbles because like in the first half they had at least I want to say that they had four fumbles. Three of them were lost. So I think
But
one of them was
here's
by
my
instant
gripe.
mistake. Yeah.
Here's my gripe though. How do you have Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack, Derwin James? How do you have all these people and you can't make a cohesive defense? Oh,
Coaching sucks, dude. He
yeah.
was a fraud. He was touted as he came from the Los Angeles Rams as a defensive coordinator. He was touted as this defensive mastermind that would come in and like just improve that defense. Then he comes in and it's like the excuses are that it's not his personnel. Then he gets like the pick and choosing of everything in his personnel. Like he builds this defense all by himself. They
I
they
don't think the
spend
personnel's that bad. Anyway, go on.
yeah. But then they spend more money than they have because next year they're like over 20 million over the cap, and this is a roster that is probably gonna finish with 5 wins. So this is a 5-12 roster, which will be like over 20 million over the cap. I think it's 20, but I've heard 40 as well. But it's something over that. It's like it's quite a bit over the cap and you have like just aging players. It's like Bozo who can never stay healthy. It's like Khalil Mack who's like 30 something. It's Derwin James who hasn't been playing that well this year. It's like it's a whole bunch of guys who like are not really in a position to be there for quite that amount of time and like you managed to build this team and it still sucks because you suck as a coach, man. And it's like then the media asks you, is the issue the defense? And it's like, no, you just start blaming the offense and you start blaming your QB, who's the only thing that has been keeping you alive as the game showed, that you lost by 63 the minute that he went out of the window. But with all this said, I still don't think this shows anything that one QB
The
is better than
Raiders.
the other.
You gave up 63 to the
To the
fucking
Raiders.
Raiders. To the to
Like,
the Aiden O'Connell run Raiders. How do you get out of
I
here with
mean,
that.
you have run a play so much that the opposing DB managed to read it just by the motion of Eckler. That is just the amount of you not adjusting this offense. And this is another thing, is that the lack of adjustment. Like Zach Taylor, I mean, he managed to adjust the offense to what Browning does a bit better than what Burrow does. And
Right.
like he didn't adjust it a whole lot, and he has said that publicly that he wasn't gonna adjust a whole lot because he trusts the QB, and I get that, but he has adjusted somewhat. Now you're running the same exact concepts with a QB. He was like not
Who doesn't know what
probably an
he's doing?
NFL
He doesn't know
QB,
what he's doing
yeah,
out there. Yeah. Like bro,
and
he's
it's
not gonna
like.
he's gonna run your plays. He's not gonna be like, okay, we've done this before. Let's do a backside slant to get him off guard. Get out of here with that, and get out of here with this. We're a shittier team, so our quarterback is. Get out of here with that.
Yeah, I
Like,
think it's
come
like an L
on,
take.
bro.
Nothing to see there. Big L take.
I can't believe
Uh,
I'm saying this, but the Bengals have some kind of stability right now.
yeah,
It's crazy.
they
I
do.
I thought the season was done. I really did. I thought the season was done. There's no way we're making the play. Honestly, Burrow going down has given me more appreciation for Zach Taylor and just the way the Bengals team has been constructed and the way they're run overall. It's been great. It's
Yeah,
been great.
for sure. I agree. I think it's a stupid take, and it's like it's just the team building and the coaching is just so much better. Like if you switched places, I think you would have like I don't think Herbert would play as well, and because he does have some deficiencies in his game, so I don't think he would play as well as Burrow in Cincinnati. I also don't think that Burrow would manage to elevate the Chargers as much. So I think they are what they are at QBs, and I think it's not because of the situation that you have any sort of. If anything, I would say that you have a higher opinion on Herbert because of his adversities.
Yes.
Because we talked about this in a previous episode that it's like it's never on Herbert, so he gets all of the excuses. It's and I've given excuses for Herbert as well, which I've been giving them right now because of the coaching. But it's if you hear anything about him, it's never just him. Other QBs get a lot more blame than he does, and he gets a pass because of his coaching. So if anything, that helps him in that regard. Now, I need to see more from him before I can say that he's better than a guy who went to the Super Bowl and went to like a division, a conference final. Like, it's just not the same thing to me.
No. Like you see it in their matchups. Like obviously the defense is better. Our defense, has held Patrick Mahomes, and not just like this year's Patrick Mahomes. We held like MVP Patrick Mahomes to zero, well, not zero, 3 points in two straight second halves. Like, obviously, that's not just Joe Burrow, but Joe Burrow does do things that warrant credit, and he did keep the Bengals in position and win those games. Herbert,
Yeah,
I can see tries to do that, but at the same time, like we won't know because of the everything else around him.
yeah, I
So
agree. Maybe we do see next year. I'm not sure. Who do you think coaches this team next
I'm
year?
I'm still all Bill Belichick train. Bill
Yeah,
Belichick is the
I
Chargers head coach next season. That's my take.
I just can't see Spanos spending that type of money. To be honest, he just comes across as a very
Wait a
cheap
minute
owner.
now. No, wait a minute now. You're telling me that these guys are willing to go $20 million in the hole in the cap to build a roster, but they're not willing to spend something? Get out of here.
Well, yeah, but that's like that's I think that's a different thing because you have to spend that money no matter what. And it's not like because you're 20 millions over
You're not
20 mil.
obligated to spend $20 million more than the budget.
You are not, but that's a GM move, and that's why the GM went as well, because the GM also got fired. Telesco, I believe it's
Yeah.
Telesco or Telesco, something like that.
Hmm.
Um, so he was also fired because this is a very badly built roster right now. So I think it's just different things. It's like you're having to pay a coach like Bill Belichick, so he won't be cheap. And a report has come out that the
First,
Patriots were not gonna trade Bill Belichick. At least up right now, they wouldn't do that. So
they'll do it in the
apparently, it's
offseason.
just paying money for him, and it's like if you're paying money for a coach who's he's gonna be let go apparently, and apparently that isn't even finalized. But I don't see how he survives another year. So I just don't think so. An interesting name, but again, Spanos is a cheap guy. So, but a much more interesting name would be Harbaugh.
Jim
Do you
Harbaugh?
do you think he would leave Michigan?
Really?
I mean, I've seen reports. that he is sniffing around the NFL for another job. But I don't think he would be cheap, so I don't think that's
So I'm
Spanos.
about to say, I was about to say, you're saying that he's not willing to pay Bill Belichick, but he'll go
He,
after Jim Harbaugh?
yeah, I mean, I started this by saying that I don't think he would do it because he's a cheap guy. But I mean, if you're spending money, I would much rather spend money on Harbaugh, who's gonna be there longer, probably due to age, than Bill. And then you have to give more control to Bill because I don't think that Bill would go from being the general manager and the head coach in New England to just be an head coach somewhere else.
Hmm, that's fair.
So, and I don't think he's that good of a general manager.
So you really think because of the way that things ended in San Francisco, Jim Harbaugh wouldn't want similar control?
Uh, I don't think so. At least right now, I'm not sure if he would demand that sort of control.
I think he would. I think after what happened in San Francisco, I would. But maybe he's a different kind of person. I don't know.
Mm, it could be. I haven't thought about that. What happened in San Francisco? I was just thinking of like age that he maybe wouldn't want to take on all of those positions, both the head coach and the general manager. So he
Hmm.
would do just with the head coaching, and then he would add
Well,
general
maybe he
manager
wouldn't
down the
GM, but
line.
he get to pick out who his GM is.
Yeah, that could be, and that would create a weird dynamic, wouldn't it? It's like
Yeah.
you sort of have to get ruled by the GM. Like he builds you the roster, then it's you put him in that position, so he sort of feels obligated to give you some sort of control over it as
Input.
well. So
Yep.
yeah, so it's rough. But
All
yeah,
right.
probably
I
isn't none of those, and it's like a random guy that he picks out of somewhere in his family. Maybe it's his son. Maybe he gives it to his son, Spanos Jr.
I think if anything, it's most likely going to be a offensive minded coach because it seems like he just hired a DC. It just bit him. I think it's going to be an offensive minded, and then someone who can work with Herbert because Herbert's going to have some kind of input, unless the Chargers are really that inept. Maybe they are. Maybe I'm not giving
Wouldn't
the
shock me.
Chargers enough credit. What's up?
It wouldn't shock me.
It wouldn't shock me either. That's the sad part. But I could see it being more of an offensive focused guy if it's not like a big name.
Yeah, I sort of like every single head coaching position. I'll sort of just assume it's going to be Ben Johnson's because if he doesn't get a pick of a litter, I would be very surprised. But now it's waiting between
Here, you
coaching a
want to
guy like Herbert
you
or
want a
going
name?
to an actual
You want a
fictional
name?
team. Yeah,
You want
give
a
it to
name?
me.
Eric Bieniemy.
Um, I'm never sure that he gets a job.
You don't think so?
Hmm. I've heard, at least this is like the conspiracy theory that's going on, that because of his past in
He's a
college,
bit. Well, I heard he was a bit of a dickhead behind the scenes, and that's why people don't want
yeah,
to give him his credit.
and that's something that happened in college as well.
Hmm.
His background in coaching while in college wasn't the best. He would sort of allow things to go too far, and he would just sort of like hide things from the NCAA and all of that. So he would be the type of coach that would do his players a solid, like his good players a solid. And a lot went behind the scenes that teams aren't comfortable with giving him the job.
Hmm.
And now in Washington, like you have had some players like showing some like I'm not. It's not discomfort. It's like they're not happy with the enemy. Like Rivera said that, for example, Terry McLaurin went to him, and he questioned some of the enemy's calls and some of the enemy's decisions. Now, is that something that then you can say, oh, maybe the players are soft and all of that, and some players have talked well about him, but it never seems like the guy gets the job. The
It's the
big job.
Chargers, though. It's the
Yeah,
Chargers,
that's
though.
if
The
anything,
ch-
that's the Chargers. Yeah,
it's the Chargers are gonna Charger.
that's true.
So in other news, another Ravens running back tore his ACL.
It's just another one bites the dust. Yeah, Keaton Mitchell, just explosive rookie, and there goes his ACL again. It didn't look good live as well. Like his leg just completely bent the other way while he was running. So you just sort of saw it coming. It was either that or it's one of those weird injuries where it's like, yeah, he's done for the year and maybe some more, or it's like an hyperextended knee and he's back like in a couple weeks. It's like it's a really weird injury where it looks like his leg is about to get turned into mush, and then sometimes it's just like, oh, it's an hyperextended leg, you'll be fine. It's like, okay, but no, this one was really an ACL.
Yeah.
There it went. And in other news that popped out today, no more Mitchell Trubisky if Kenny Pickett can go. If Pickett can't go, it's gonna be Mason Rudolph because it's the Christmas season and we need the reindeers. And Red Nose Rud. Oh my god, I wanted to make the joke and it failed miserably. Red Nose Rud.
Reindeer.
No, but it's like the reindeer has a name, doesn't it? And like
Rudolph the
right now
red-nosed
it
reindeer.
doesn't. No, you're in Portugal. It has a different name.
What?
Yeah, and it's
Huh.
like it's Rudolph. Yeah, yeah, Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer.
That's what I said. Anyway. Um,
So yeah, he's Rudolph because it's the
so
Christmas season and he needs to get in. Yeah, sorry guys, that joke went a bit too much.
nah, you're good. So are the Ravens just cursed at running back? Is that it?
Maybe, except for Gus Bus. I guess he did get hurt last week, but last year.
Oh, we're talking about
But
the
he has
Steelers.
been,
Do you think the Steelers? Oh, the Steelers play the Bengals this week.
yeah, with Rudolph at the helm.
Potentially.
But yeah, if Pickett can go, I believe Tomlin hasn't really said that if he's gonna go or not. But yeah, it might be Rudolph.
So has the Steelers' offense to you looked better since Canada has been gone?
It looks better. Now it sort of
Yeah,
looks like a bad team. It's
that's
like
good.
that's sort of what you expect from Trubisky and Rudolph. Those guys are just not good. Like I'm not like when I know that a guy like Mitch Trubisky will helm the offense, I'm not expecting a good offense. It's just like it is what it is.
I mean, you could have said the same thing about Jake Browning.
Yeah, but I never really saw Jake Browning play, and I saw a whole lot of Mitch Trubisky, and Mitch Trubisky has always been sort of bad, except from that one year in which he looks passable.
The year with the Bears.
So, I mean, he had plenty of years with the Bears, but the one in which he went to the playoffs, the one with the big defense. So
Oh,
he
okay.
didn't have to do a whole lot, but at least he looked passable.
Hmm. Ah, man.
Yeah, Colts win, and I believe they are now tied for the division alongside Houston and Jacksonville.
Did you expect what happened to the Jets actually happen to the Jets? Getting blown out 30-0.
I didn't, but I also expected Zach Wilson to play more, and he didn't. But I don't think it would have made a whole lot of difference, to be honest. I mean, I saw a stat earlier today, and yeah, I saw it. Here it is. Um, Zach Wilson, while he played, this was like with roughly 5 minutes and 27 seconds left in the clock in the first half. Connor Hughes tweeted this. This is almost hard to believe. Jets QB Zach Wilson has been pressured on 80% of his dropbacks today.
That's
He's
ridiculous.
4 of 11 for 26 yards. The Dolphins have 4 sacks, 7 QBs hits, already. Still 5 minutes and 27 seconds left in the first half. So yeah, like just that's just rough. I saw an image of the old line trying to block, and it's like those four guys were trying to block themselves, the old linemen, and then like the four D linemen were just straight at Wilson. Like he was surrounded by four linemen. And it's like, what are we doing,
Do you
man?
think the Jets would be
This
stupid to like bring Aaron Rodgers back? Because apparently he's going to be cleared for next week, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah, so what did I always tell you? Like when he would be able to come back, then they would be out of the playoff race, and he would say, okay, no, I'm not coming back. But I could, but I'm not because there's no point. I think that's just what's gonna happen.
You
Like
think that?
they are not mathematically eliminated, but I think they have a very, very small chance of making it in because
0.6%.
now they are at yeah. So it's like it's as good as being eliminated.
Yeah, no, it
And
is.
like I wouldn't risk it. But now the thing is, because now you have a diva, and like
A diva?
you can think what you yeah in Aaron Rodgers.
Oh
It's
yeah.
like you have a prima donna, and it's like if he really pushes to play, do you let him play
But
just
why would
so
he
he
push
doesn't
to
get
play?
pissed off?
Why would he push
I'm
to
not sure.
All he
Aaron
needs to do is
sometimes
watch
is
tape of that offensive line play for like two possessions.
Aaron is Aaron, dude. Like I wouldn't be shocked. I mean, the dude went to a dark retreat and stayed in the house, like completely in the darkness, for what?
I
Weeks?
don't know why you would want to play with watching that line.
Why
What's
would you want to go to a dark retreat for like 2 weeks or three? Like, he does what he
it
wants
just
at this
doesn't make
point, and it's
sense.
like,
It doesn't make sense.
but as a coach, would you allow it though?
It
Or a
doesn't make
GM in this point?
sense. No.
Yeah, I don't think it makes sense. But say you push that he doesn't play, but he really wants to play, and you can see that he's starting to get pissed off. Do you really just pull the plug and say you make the calls, or do you let him make the call?
I mean, at this point, you're Robert Solid. I mean, he's gonna complain to the owner
Yeah.
anyway. You might as well just let him go out there and get hurt again. I guess. I don't know. Like
Yeah, I'm hoping that he doesn't really push to play,
he's
because
gonna
not
get
only
hurt
will I be
again.
right from my take a few weeks ago, but then yeah, he would be sort of be okay for next year. But yeah, Aaron does some wild stuff at times.
They better invest like everything in the offensive line, like all their draft picks. All like this is like Joe Burrow, like after that Super Bowl run, like coming to Jesus moment, like everything into the offensive line, the money, the draft picks. Just you got to figure it out at this point. Like,
Yeah, and another follow-up question for you:
oh, sorry.
do you think that Salah goes?
Yes,
Salah gets fired.
yeah.
Okay.
I think I think this is just one too many bad seasons. I think that the Jets ownership has just had enough. You could say the quarterback you brought in went down, and that's something you can't, predict. But at the same time, the way he handled the whole quarterback Cassell after Rodgers went down, the consistent losing, the no, I don't know if he's a bad coach. I don't know if I have enough information to say that, but I do know that enough is probably enough with especially in New York with the Jets.
Do you think that maybe the benching of Zach Wilson, because Salah was always the guy who went to the media and said that Zach gives us the best chance to win. Zach is the QB, and the media was constantly at it. And there's probably internal pressure with at it, just like
Well, yeah, because it's New York.
bench Wilson.
Yeah, because it's New York.
Yes. And it's like you don't want to lose the locker room, bench Wilson. Do you think this is, as some as said for Alabama, when Nick Saban benched Jalen Milrow when he wasn't playing that well earlier in the season? He benched Milrow. Then the other guys came in. They were absolutely terrible. And then Milrow went back in, and he was in. I'm not sure if he was in the Heisman talk, but he was playing better. in the end. Do you think this was a similar play by Salah? As like show the people what he has behind Wilson and then go back to Wilson? Or you really think that he wanted to bench
But
Zach?
here's the thing. Like at the end of the day, you gotta like ignore the noise, especially if you're gonna be in a market like New York. So, I mean, at some point you have to be the leader, you have to be the one making that call. It has to be your call that you made. He did what he did. That's the end of it. Like the person taking if you like give in to the pressure and you don't make the best decision that you think is the best decision, that's on you. That's on you.
Hmm.
If
Okay.
your owner is pressuring you to make that decision, okay, that's a different conversation that they can have behind the scenes. But if it really was just like people like Stephen A. Smith pressuring Robert Sala to change off of Zach Wilson, they're not in that building. They don't see the practices. They don't see what Sala is seeing. So no. I think it's a different
Okay.
story if it's an ownership who is trying to like control those decisions. I'm a little bit more like open to being um I'm not sure what the word is, but receptive to that. But if it's the media, then no, that's you, buddy. You're gonna have to swallow that one.
Yeah. Yeah. I also think it's. I've been pretty pro Salah, but I think it's probably time for him to go at this point.
Eh,
And it's like after losing, it's not even like losing 30-0, but it's like the offensive performance that your players show, the inaptitude that your offensive line, and I know they've been battling injuries. Like every single year they've had injuries in the O line. But knowing this, and you still can't feel the deep enough alignment group that it doesn't make your line look completely and utterly inept. And then it's like, sure, the GM makes the hires, but it's like you're the head coach and the offensive coordinator that you picked, that you went with was
what
Hackett.
what
It's
do they
like,
have to give up 60 points to the Raiders too? Like
yeah. Like, yeah, I think it's baffling. I know he wants to pander to Aaron, but at this point, with Aaron's probably one or two last years in the league,
Yep.
you probably just go see which coach wants to work with Aaron, I guess, and you probably have a really decent list. Or maybe Aaron. We always say like Aaron will be coming back next year. Aaron this, Aaron that.
What if he just retires?
But what if he just sucks next year? It's like it's a 40-something-year-old QB coming
41.
out of an Achilles injury. 41
Yeah.
year old QB coming out of an Achilles injury, who did look to be worse the last year that he played. He did look human. He wasn't as good as years prior, his last year in Green Bay. What if he just sucks?
What if he just sucks is right?
It's like a coach doesn't really want to work with him that much because it's like, yeah, then you lost with Aaron Rodgers, and it like that's the headline. The headline isn't that you lost with a 42-year-old next year QB who came out
41.
of
He's
an
40
Achilles
now.
surgery. Oh, okay, okay. I thought he was 41 now.
I counted the next year.
The extra year. Okay, yeah. You lose with a 41-year-old QB coming out of an Achilles surgery. It's like the headline won't be that. It's that you lost with Aaron Rodgers, and that's what you will be in your resume.
Yep.
So maybe a coach just doesn't want to tail their wagon to that. And they can't really draft a QB because they'll be picking high enough, and you can't really draft a QB because last time that had happened with Aaron, things got sour quick with Jordan Love. So yeah, tough
What
position
if
for the
they do
Jets
do
right now.
that shit though? What if they do draft a quarterback?
It would be interesting, wouldn't it? Like especially with this class, and you have a few guys that would take a little while longer to develop. But I'm not sure how well it would sit with Aaron though.
Oh, wouldn't sit well at
It's
all.
like yeah, because you have this murderous row of an offensive lineman,
Yeah,
and it's like your first pick in the draft is a QB. It's like, guys, that's really not what I need to win, but okay. I guess that's who you guys are going with. So you know that with Aaron's ego, that would just affect it way too much.
sure.
But yeah, interesting offseason for the Jets coming up. And just to finish up the Saturday games, and then we'll be more picky with the other games. But just as Denver was looking too hot, Detroit really poured a very cold
Yeah,
water bucket on top of their
yeah, they did.
just absolute destruction by the Detroit Lions, which that was my take on the game, was that a pissed off Lions team would just get in here and rip the Denver Broncos apart. That's sort of what happened. I didn't expect this sort of a rip off, but it happened, and yeah, like they played pretty well. If we're gonna talk about fantasy football here a bit as well, Sam Laporta,
3 touchdowns.
he was cooling off a bit, but 3 touchdowns is gonna put that tight end one conversation back on the
But see,
menu, I
why
guess.
why would 3 touchdowns? He only had 50 yards. So I don't know.
I mean, it's what have you done for me lately? And it's like first week of the playoffs, and the owner of Sam
Do you think
Laporta
we're just too?
gets almost.
Do you think we're too loosey goosey with who we rank as the number one wide receiver, quarterback, running back in a given season? Tight end.
Oh, for sure, for sure, for sure. We do. We like especially at running back or at tight end. I mean, for a while, Bijan was like perceived as the guy who was in a bad coaching situation, who wasn't getting the usage that one would hope. Then it's like he has a good stretch of 3 games and he just jumps as the running back one. And now after posting what a minus point 0.9 in his first like fantasy playoff game, I'm sure people are going to be pissed off about him, especially when Jameer Gibbs comes out and he has a pretty stout game where he rushes for what? He rushed for 100 yards on 11 carries, so that's a 9.1 yard per carry. He had a touchdown. He added to that 2 catches for 8 yards and a touchdown as well, so he had 2 touchdowns. He had 27.8 points in fantasy. I wouldn't be shocked if we start seeing some Jameer Gibbs as running back one conversations soon. So yeah, we're really way too loosey goosey with it, as you said. And I'm sure Sam Laporta will be in the talks because yeah, that's what have you done for me lately? And he gave you 30 points from your tight end position. You probably won your week.
You're not wrong. Hmm, that's crazy.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
So, are
Okay,
you ready to?
Sunday slate.
Are you ready to start the? I'm just gonna hit you right with the dagger. Are you ready to start talking about the Arthur Smith being fired yet?
Yes,
Panthers won without scoring a touchdown, Alex.
that's scoring a touchdown. I mean, that was a pitiful game to watch, man.
But
And
that,
I've heard reports today that the owner isn't set on Archer being the coach next year, which goes against what I've heard so far. But yeah, it would be hard for me to defend a guy who,
just
in a
lost
team
to
with
the
the last,
Panthers.
no, his last 3 first round picks, if I'm not mistaken, were, as we've mentioned in the show,
It's London and Bijan.
Bijan Robinson,
Yep.
Drake London, and Kyle Pitts.
Yep.
Those
All of
players
them are top 10 picks
yesterday,
too.
yes, those players yesterday combined for a total of any guess in terms of touches? How many
Oh,
touches
touches. I was gonna
do
say
your like?
yards. I know they had like 75 yards between them.
Okay, so 11. So your guys, your first round picks last night, in yeah, last Sunday had a total of 13 touches amongst those 3 players.
And that's a running back in
Your
there.
yes, and that's a running back in there that accounted for 8 of those touches. Your in other news,
I'm pretty sure
your
Tyler
fifth round,
Algier had as many touches.
yeah, your fifth round running back that you drafted had 15 touches. 15. Like, what are we doing here,
I'm pretty
man?
sure Jonnu
What are we
Smith
doing?
was the lead receiver too.
Yeah, John Smith led. That's weird because I saw that as well, but maybe it's touches.
It wasn't
No,
touches, it
because
was
here it.
yards. Jonnu Smith led the team
Oh,
in
yards. Yeah,
yards.
yeah, yeah.
Yes.
He led them
Or
in yards, and he was tied for second in receptions.
yes.
Yes, and he had more yards than he had the same amount of yards as Kyle Pitts and Drake London combined.
Yep.
So, and I guess you can almost throw in there Bijan as well.
So I
It's mind-boggling, dude. It's
you
just
you ready to because I'm all off Arthur Smith. Arthur Smith can just like he needs to get sent to the barn. Just send him off to the pasture. Send him to the barn. Just get someone else in there.
yeah. I think that might be time, and that raises up another question that I've had, which is how many coaches do you think end up being fired in total? So we've already had what, two coaches fired this year? We had the Chargers, Brandon Staley, and you had the Raiders,
Did the Panthers
with
get fired?
McDaniels. The Panthers owner was also the Panthers owner. The Panthers owner should be fired, but no, the Panthers coach was also fired. Yeah, so that's three coaches fired so far.
So you could
How many more do you think get
so,
fired, like total
so
for
you
a
have
year?
three potentially available positions. Well, not potentially, three available
Yes,
positions. So I think
three
that
available.
the Falcons need to get rid of theirs.
So that's four.
Let's see. Steelers no, Browns no, Bengals no. Jaguars no. I don't think the Titans fire.
Yeah, I don't think so as well.
I don't think the Colts fire. Let's see. Bills no. Jets. I let's put the Jets in there.
So that's five.
Patriots.
That's six.
So Broncos no. Chiefs hell no. Raiders are already there. Chargers are already there. Okay, that's the AFC. Cowboys no. Eagles no. Command? Do you think the
Oh,
Commanders do
by
it?
all accounts, that like every single report that has come out is that Ron Rivera has already been informed that this is it. Like he isn't being fired by the current ownership because like they're being gracious about it, and it's probably his last year as a coach
Hmm.
in the league. But yeah, he's out. So that's seven.
Okay, Giants. I think Dayball and the ownership are at an impasse, so I think Giants will be one.
You think so? Because
Yeah,
I think he
I
might get another year, but he needs to really step on it and say that this will be my team and my decisions. I'm not sure how well that goes with ownership in New York.
that's why I think they're parting ways this offseason.
Okay, so that's eight.
Okay, so we're doing NFC. Seahawks no. Rams no. 49ers hell no. Who's the team I'm missing? Rams, Seahawks, 49ers.
Cardinals.
Cardinals. Cardinals maybe.
Hmm. You think they get in that like Houston Texans way in which they fire the guy right after they hire him?
They could.
Okay, so let's put
The
nine.
Cardinals the Cardinals just had a bad season. These are potential. I'm not
Okay, yeah.
okay. The last NFC teams. Falcons, please.
Okay,
Saints.
10.
I'm gonna say Saints no for now.
Okay,
Panthers already have, and Bucks are gonna keep theirs for sure.
okay. And the North finally.
Packers no. Vikings. Hmm. I could see the Vikings doing it if it just depends. If they bring Kirk Cousins back, I think they're gonna keep the same staff.
I think they
If
keep
not,
him no matter what, to
you
be
think they keep him
honest.
no matter what?
I think yes.
I don't
I
know
mean,
about no matter
he
what.
has gone through 4 or 5 starting QBs this year alone, and the team is still in playoff contention. I
That's
think that
true.
deserves
That's
some
true.
merit.
That's true. That's true. That's true. And so Detroit, hell no. And then who is the Bear? Ha ha. Bears probably yeah.
Okay, so you have
Bad teams.
potentially 12 openings in the National Football League.
Really? 12. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
And like I think that two that you mentioned, the Cardinals and the Giants, I think both coaches might stay for another
I think
year
that could happen
at
too. But
least.
I just think the Giants and Dayball are just so like polar opposites. It seems like as far as managing the team goes, that
Yeah,
they might just part ways.
yeah. And it's crazy that like Buffalo, we just immediately said no, while like 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, before they went on this run, it was like, it's looking shaky right now. It's looking
Oh no,
shaky with McDermott.
I never I never said Dunkirk was going to be fired.
Oh, I at least thought it. And I've seen some people against him as well. So, but it's like, well, now most of the people are okay. He stays because the Bills are playing pretty well.
Yeah,
But yeah, 10 to 12 openings in the National Football League seems quite a bit, to be honest.
it does.
I'm not sure what the usually like average is for openings in the league, but this seems quite a few. We should have plenty of new faces in the league.
I think
And
it's a combination of we have some pretty bad coaches in the NFL right now. One, and two, we have this new quarterback class coming in. So I think there's going to be more of a focus on getting offensive minded coaches into these teams
hmm, I could
that
see it, yeah.
draft that draft these quarterbacks. That's just my thought.
Yeah. I could
Like
see it
you
as well.
like okay, you're the Bears. You're the Bears. Let's say you don't want to go in on Justin Fields and you draft, Caleb Williams or Drake May depending on where you fall. You're probably getting Williams. But regardless, you're saying you want Eberflus to be the person that coaches him? I don't know.
Hell no.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's just the way I think.
But yeah.
I think at some point we need to talk about fantasy and we need to make predictions for next week.
Oh yeah, yeah. We maybe need to talk about couple more games. Okay, I guess now that we talked about the Bills, playoff hero James Cook and the Buffalo Bills just steamroll the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, that wasn't a good day
Just
for
like
me.
this is why I never trust the Cowboys. It's like they are 1-3 versus good teams. They've scored an average of 19 points versus teams with good records. And
Hmm.
it's like they are just not a serious team. It's like they are what they are at this point. They're the Dallas Cowboys. This is just it.
Hmm.
And with that loss, and with the San Francisco 49ers winning, and winning in a very dominant way, right now, the MVP favorite, Brock
Brock Purdy.
Purdy.
Yep.
Do you think he deserves it? Because we've had this talk about MVPs before, but now it's like he took a big leap this game because Dak really struggled, and Purdy went 16 of 25 for 242 yards, 9.7 yards per attempt, four touchdowns, no sacks, no interceptions, nothing. 135.3 QB rating, so a pretty good game by him. While Dak really struggled, so now he's in the lead. Do you think this holds true?
Maybe. I'm curious to see if they give it to Tyreek. I think if there's a year Tyreek's going to win it or a non-quarterback's going to win it, this is the year.
Tyreek
This is
right
the year.
now needs plenty of yardage though, doesn't he?
He was
Because
out last week. That's right. I forgot about that.
do you think? Because I saw this argument before. Do you think the report was that he was given the decision to either sit or to play, and it would be on him, and he would decide if he was healthy enough? Do you think he sat down versus the Jets so that no one can use the 17 game versus 16 game argument against him when he breaks Calvin Johnson's record?
Oh, stop it. Get out of here with this.
And it's like when you look at the games coming up, if he had to miss a game that the Dolphins were pretty okay without him, it's this one because now it's Dallas, it's Baltimore, and it's Buffalo. So if he had to miss a game to make this point, that would be it. And right now, he needs to reach the 2,000 yards. He needs 458 yards, which is roughly 152.6 a game, point 0.7 a game. So, do you think he averages 152 yards a game? And do you
There's no
think
way. There's
he
no
missed the game
way.
on purpose?
There's no way he gets 150 over 3 games. There's no way he missed that game.
Hmm.
There's no way.
That's a nice little conspiracy theory that I've seen floating
That
around.
is a good one. I'll give you that one. That's a good conspiracy
It's like
theory.
if he gets it now, no one can say anything about the games here because you know that there are some haters, especially with him, with things that happened before related to him in real life. There's people who don't like him, and that's totally fair. Like it's really understandable for the things that he has done. But people would hold that against him, the 17 versus 16, even if he, I don't know, maybe even if he managed to get him in 16, but then he played the 17 game and he got more yards, there would always be some sort of argument against that. But now it's just purely 16, I guess, even though he missed the game, so it's just gonna be the 16. It's tough because the schedule is really tough the last 3 weeks, like especially Buffalo, who's been playing pretty stellar defense, and Baltimore. Dallas has been sort of as we've seen, but now apparently it's just versus the run. The defense hasn't been as good. But yeah, I want to say that he gets the 2,000 yards and that they make an extra effort to get it, but I'm not sure. I've been pretty apologetic that he should win the MVP if he gets the 2,000 yards, but I'm not sure right now because Purdy. I mean, if Purdy continues this the last 3 games, and I think he has it locked down. The one argument that I've seen against that, and the narrative that can play against him, is do you think that Mr. Irrelevant to MVP is a
That's a good
positive point in
story.
his favor or a negative point? Do you think the league would be more inclined to give it to him due to the storyline or less inclined as to say, okay, people should still have doubts about him, about his game because he was Mr. Irrelevant? Or do you think the NFL would say, okay, this is a cool story, let's push it?
I think they'd say it's a cool story. Let's push it.
Okay. Okay. Do you think the voters would agree though? Because the voters might still have the mentality of this guy's just overperforming because of the team and like he isn't as good to get an MVP and he was the last pick of the draft. What do you think the voters' mentality is?
I think the voters are kind of sad that it's a year that they're debating between Tyreek Hill and Brock Purdy.
Okay,
So
that's fair. So your MVP pick right now is Brock Purdy.
mm, I don't know.
Hmm. Some doubts still.
Yeah, no,
We'll reconvene
I
on
have
next episode.
I have huge doubts.
Okay, let's just do like a quick recap in terms of like scores. Rams 28, Commanders 20. Rams beat them. Chiefs 27, Patriots 17. Patrick Mahomes loses his head on Kadarius Toney because Kadarius Toney managed to not only drop a ball, but he
Bounce.
bubbles it on the air. And the Patriots, Jelani Tavai, gets the pick and they cut to the sidelines and Patrick Mahomes is fuming at the dude. Do you think Tony gets any more chances right now, or do you think that's it for KC Tony?
I think it's sad that this is where the Kansas City Chiefs are at. Like none of the Rasheed Rice is their best wide receiver.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I believe Rashid Rice has roughly the same amount of yardage on the year as the other 3 wide receivers combined. So that's Tony, that's MVS, and that's Sky Moore. I believe Rashid Rice has roughly the same amount of yardage as those 3 guys, which is crazy. And one more game that I want to talk about here, just really quick, just laze it through. But our Packers, the team that we have been beating the drums for since the offseason,
Yep.
The
Lost to the
Packers
Bucks.
defense lost to the Bucks. Allowed in Lambeau. They allowed 34 points to the Buccaneers. And the Packers this was tweeted by Dyer Carragher, I believe that's his name, on Twitter. Today, the Packers put together one of the worst pass coverage performances in recent NFL history by any team.
Yep.
Their overall PFF coverage rate of 29.3 today is the lowest rate of any team in a single game in the last 5 seasons.
Yep.
Truly enough, a very bad performance by this defense that we were sort of not super high on, but we sort of thought they would be okay. Yeah, that secondary is very rough. And yeah, I guess that's mostly it. Oh, and Sunday Night Football, the Ravens beat the Jaguars, the frauds of the Jaguars, 23-7. Do you still
Yeah.
have the Jaguars in your top 10, Angelo?
Yes.
Oh my God, Angelo, they are tied with the Indianapolis Colts for the division. The
Hmm.
Colts, Angelo, which you said were awful.
Yes,
Awful.
I did.
One of the worst rosters in the league. And they are tied with them for the
I
division.
I did say that.
Yeah. And you still have them hovering in your top 10. Jesus, Angelo.
They're
And
hovering.
okay. And I
Trevor Lawrence
guess
got knocked out of that game.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Excuses, excuses, excuses. I mean, I like that game because Travis Etienne did nothing, and that meant I won the Dynasty Nas round.
This guy.
And yeah, I mean, you said we needed to introduce some fantasy, so here it is. Guys, we
Sure.
managed to go through another week. Job's not finished, as Kobe once said. And Angelo was having a meltdown in the chat because he thinks this is a cursed season right now. That this shouldn't be happening.
Yeah.
I fully attribute this to your cheeky message that that wasn't looking too good to me because that's mostly when it turned better for me. So I don't know. And next week I have a QB decision to make. It won't be Sam Howell next week. It will be either Jake Browning or Joe Flacco. So same decision as I had versus you.
Yeah.
Okay. Finally, I guess we can talk about our power
Yeah.
rankings. Just to go to the later segments of the show. So
Yep.
power rankings, Angelo. You want to go first?
Sure. Number 10, I have the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Okay. Now that you mentioned that, just so I can correct myself and people don't go nuts, they are technically not tied for the division, I believe. Or are they? Wait, wait, wait. Give me a second. Go ahead and do your thing, please, because I have this wrong here. Okay, they are tied for the division. Yes, people cannot go nuts. They are tied for the division. Go on. My bad.
People cannot go nuts. They are tied.
Okay,
Anyway,
Jacksonville.
9, Cleveland.
Okay.
8, Dallas.
Dallas.
7, Buffalo.
Ooh, Buffalo's back.
Buffalo is back. 6, Dolphins. 5, Lions. 4, Chiefs. 3, I have to give them their flowers, the Ravens. 2, Eagles. 1, 49ers.
Oh my god.
What?
The Eagles, dude. The Eagles. Ah,
Yes!
give me a break. The
Yes!
Eagles, those frauds. I mean, they might even lose
Good.
tonight. Now, I'm not even sure if they have Hurts this week. That's gonna be
Yeah.
a fun one. But okay, so my top 10. The last team, 10th team, is the Los Angeles Rams. Then
LAR,
it's
baby.
yeah, I mean, they are looking stout. They are currently in the playoffs if the season ended today. And 9, I have Cleveland. At 8, I have Detroit.
No Jaguars?
Give me a break. No Colts, man. No Colts. Are you sure? Like, oh my God. Why aren't we not putting up the Colts then? Uh, then at 8, I have Detroit, as I've said. At 7, I have the Philadelphia Eagles, the frauds.
Seven?
This was exactly where they were last week. So they were either 7th or 6th. So
Oh man.
I
Okay.
can
Go
actually
on.
check because I have it here. Yeah, they were 7th last week. So they haven't really moved. At 6, I have the Dallas Cowboys. At 5, I have the Kansas City Chiefs. At 4, the Buffalo Bills. At 3, the Miami Dolphins. At 2, the Baltimore Ravens. And at 1, the San Francisco 49ers. Who is your current Super Bowl pick? Like NFC and AFC? I guess we can sort of keep track of that as well.
Chiefs v 49ers.
Okay. And who wins?
49ers.
Okay. And mine is the San Francisco 49ers versus the Buffalo Bills. And the Buffalo Bills win the Super Bowl.
Guy. This
This
fucking
is my hot take. You know what's fun? It's like you have Philadelphia here in your top four. I don't. It's like I don't even have a team inside of the top five that is from the NFC outside of San Francisco. So are we really just saying that it's going to be San Francisco versus one of the other teams? It's like the other team can fluctuate from week to week. It's like when the crunch time comes, it's always going to be San Francisco on the other side. Or do you think that maybe, like, even without injuries, that we can see an NFC team in the Super Bowl that isn't the San Francisco 49ers?
I mean, if Brock Purdy goes down, anything's possible.
Yeah, but assuming everyone's healthy, do you think anything like there's any
How?
chance that there's always a
How?
chance, but I guess a realistic chance?
Who?
Yeah, that's my point as well. I just don't see
It's
a
the Eagles.
team
The
who's
Eagles are
credible
the
enough.
only team, like top to bottom team. You can hate on them all you want. You can call them frauds. They are the only top to bottom team that I could see beating the 49ers in a one-on-one game where both teams are healthy. They have the offensive line. They have the pass rushers. They have the quarterback. They have the receivers. They have the team. It is the Eagles. Whether you want to call them frauds or not, or based on how they play, that's fine. The Eagles team is the only team that can compare with what I've seen from San Francisco.
Hmm. Yeah, nah, no,
No,
that's a big no for me.
that's a big
I
no for
just,
you, dog.
you know what they don't have?
What?
A coach that isn't a fraud in the offensive
Oh my
coordinator role.
god.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sorry, dude. I just can't see that happening. I think they have way too many flaws in their games. I mean, they faced San Francisco and they got beat the hell up by San Francisco. Like, oh, proper West whooping.
This guy.
Okay. Our week 16, weird to say, our week 16 picks coming up. So, for our records, let me just get the overall records here. Here they are. A week in which both of us went under 500, which is sort of
It's
surprising.
rare. It's very rare. It's
Yeah,
usually me that goes
very rare.
over 500 and you that goes under 500.
Yeah. Okay. So I went 5, 9, and 1. So 5. Let me just check here. Yeah, 5, 9, and 1. You went 6, 8, and 1.
somehow even did better than you, even going under 5.
Yeah. We can tie this week, or you can go up by another game because we are on opposite ends here on Monday Night Football,
As we usually are.
as we usually are. So that pushes the overall totals to 94, 125, and I guess I can just dump the ties. Doesn't really matter. So 94, 125 to me. So 125. And that puts the overall percentage at 43% still. Just it's now gone under 43 in terms of like it's 42.9, but I round it up usually, so it's still 43%. And for you, it is 52% still. It's 51.5. So you're on the precipice of being under 52
I'm on the
with one game
precipice
to
of
go.
being under 50.
Yeah. I wish I would be at the same level as you. Okay, and the week 16 picks. Let me open here the DraftKings Sportsbook. Not not being advertised for this, not being paid
No,
for this.
no.
It's
Not yet.
just
Not
what
yet.
we
Not yet.
use.
Not yet. Not yet.
Not yet. Which will be very weird if anything happens like that, in which I'll be like advertising for a company that I can't even use. So that's fun.
Not yet. Not yet. Not yet. Yeah.
Okay, so the line hasn't really moved for Seattle and Philadelphia. It's still 3.5. You are on Philadelphia minus 3.5. I'm on Seattle plus 3.5. And Thursday night football this week, as in store for us, the New Orleans Saints at the Los Angeles Rams. The Rams are 4-point favorites. The over/under is 44.5. And I think this is a pretty straightforward pick. It's the Rams. Give me the Rams -4. I bet against the Saints last week as well, but I learned that I shouldn't trust Tommy Cutlets. So yeah, I'm back on betting against the Saints, but this time with a proper team, the Rams. What says you, Angelo? Are you going back to your loved Saints?
Give me the Saints.
Oh, oh, brother. I don't have the soundboard here. Otherwise,
What do you
would have done
want?
it.
What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? I got
Oh,
I always
brother, this guy stinks.
Okay.
I need that.
Okay. Okay. Gotcha.
There you go.
Gotcha, buddy. I gotcha, buddy.
All right. Okay, you get to pick Saturday's game. There's two games on Saturday.
Bengals at Steelers. Give me the 2.5 points favorite. Give me the Bengals. I'm back. We're back. We're rolling. Give me the Bengals.
I believe you're currently in the playoffs if the season ended today.
Bengals.
And I'm gonna go with you. I think it's the Bengals
Curse
-2.5 as well.
You're gonna curse me.
Especially with Mason Rudolph
Yeah, for real.
at the helm. Yikes. Thanks and no thanks. Okay, the Saturday night game. So it's for me. It's will already be December 24th. It's the Buffalo Bills at the Los Angeles Chargers. Don't you feel like this is a prime letdown spot? It's like new coach, backup QB, team is energized again. Maybe they give the team the big favorites a proper run for their money. Don't you think there's this angle here to be played?
Are you gonna pick them?
The Bills are 12-point favorites. The over-under is 42.5.
Uh-huh.
And I just can't go against my Super Bowl champions. Give me the Buffalo Bills -12.
Okay. Well, I guess
Oh no.
I guess the Chargers
Oh no.
continue to hurt me. Give me the Chargers.
This is the first pick in which I'm not super confident in, but I really can't bet the Chargers, man. That's a
Okay.
rough team.
Detroit Lions, Minnesota Vikings. Detroit favored by 3 points. Give me the Lions.
Okay. I am not gonna go with you, and I will take Minnesota +3. I think this is a 3 point game either way. So give me the +3 points, and at least I can probably snatch a proper tie. At
Okay.
worst.
Okay.
All right, the Green Bay Packers go at Carolina versus the Panthers. And the Panthers are 5 point underdogs. So they're +5. The over under is 37. And I mean, they are just involved in these weird games in which the defense has really been dominating, but the offense just doesn't score a touchdown in the last, I want to say it's 4 games. That's a tough pick here. But give me the Packers winning so that they can maybe keep their playoff games alive, playoff hopes alive.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no, no, no.
Oh no, no, no.
It's only 5 points.
It's only 5 points.
Give me the Panthers.
Hmm. You won on the Panthers last week.
I did win on the Panthers last week.
So
Next, the Colts versus the Falcons. The Colts are favored by 2.5. I'm not picking no goddamn team run by Arthur Smith. Give me the Colts. Go on.
okay, something that we didn't mention about the Falcons. There apparently Desmond Ridder isn't like a locked in to start this week. Again, it's Arthur Smith has mentioned that he hasn't made a decision on the starting QB, so it still can be Tyler Heineke. I'm not sure how much changes there in that offense. Probably not a whole lot. But this feels like the letdown spot for the Colts. This feels like the game in which, okay, they're tied up for the division, and this will be the game going at Atlanta. Atlanta needing to win to keep the playoff hopes for the division alive. This just smells like an upset, like a 1 point win by the Falcons. So give me the Falcons +2.5.
Give you the Falcons plus 2.5.
Next up, it's the Cleveland Browns at the Houston Texans. The Houston Texans are 2.5 point favorites. Over under is 42.5. And I have the sneaky feeling Cleveland wins this game. Cleveland +2.5. They seem to be playing well with Joe Flacco, which seems weird, but when this weird timeline in which Joe Flacco is actually a proper QB in the NFL and like comes out of the couch and plays somewhat decent, and the defense is roughing those guys up. So yeah, give me the Browns +2.5, even though they have a bunch of injuries. Yeah, give me the Browns.
You know what? I'm going to agree with you. Unfortunately. I think
Okay,
you're right. I think there's a good chance the Browns win this game outright.
yeah, I agree.
Washington Commanders at New York Jets. New York Jets favored by 3 points. What happens when the stoppable force meets the movable object? Give me the Commanders +3.
You might be betting against Aaron Rodgers' first game back.
You bet I am. Aaron Rodgers isn't going to make it 3 snaps, let alone a whole game.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to agree with you. Give me Washington +3. Although there appears to be some sort of questions about the QB starting because if you didn't see, Sam Howell did get pulled. What I thought it would just be for like garbage time because they were down 3 scores with 6 minutes left. So Jacoby Brissett goes in and he immediately throws a touchdown to Terry McLaurin, and then they get another drive that goes for a touchdown. So, but that drive, like they were at the inside the 5, I believe, with roughly 4 minutes and change left. They scored a touchdown with under 2 minutes left. So they they effectively spent over 2 minutes trying to get 5 yards. Yeah, and they got it on like 8 tries because a pass interference was called. So yeah, great offense there. So I'm hoping it's still Howell, but apparently it's not a 100% lock.
Interesting.
Yeah. Next up, it's the Seattle Seahawks at the Tennessee Titans. The Seahawks haven't even played versus the Eagles. They are 2 point favorites, 2.5 point favorites. Over under is 42 and a half. I'm not sure if Will Levis is 100%. I believe he has a ankle sprain of some sort. I do believe he plays this week though. But this seems like the type of game that Seattle needs to win. So give me Seattle minus 2.5.
Give me the Titans. Next,
Oh, well, the mighty have
Jacksonville
fallen.
Jaguars at Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Jacksonville, it's basically a pick 'em. Jacksonville Jaguars favored by 1. Give me the Jacksonville Jaguars.
As much
Pick
as
'em.
it pains me to say,
Pick 'em.
the Bucks played really well in Lambeau. Really, really well. Baker played a pretty stellar game, but it was one of the worst defensive performances ever. Still, at home, it might be CJ Beathard. So give me the Tampa Bay Buccaneers +1. This might be the first time all season in which I picked the Buccaneers. Okay, next up, it's the Dallas Cowboys at the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins are 1.5 point favorites. Over under, highest on the week, of course, 51 and a half. That's a whole lot of points, man. And I pick. Who should I pick? Who should I pick? Who should I pick? This feels like it's two teams who are not really that good versus good teams. And I'm not
Mm-hmm.
sure if either team is good. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like, okay, give me Miami -1.5.
Give me the Cowboys. This is going to be a bounce back game. Give me
Yeah,
the
that
Dallas Cowboys.
if I were to pick the Cowboys, that would be the narrative, yeah. How about them Cowboys?
How about them Cowboys, Alex? Come back. I'm coming on next week and be saying it after they win. The first, I'll start the episode with it. Anyway, Arizona Cardinals, Chicago Bears favored by 4 points. Yeah, give me the Cardinals +4.
Not even you can go against this line for the Cardinals. Yeah, I think someone is high on something here with Chicago. Someone really likes Chicago for some reason, and Chicago is always the same thing with Justin Fields. They'll have those big leads. I mean, they were up 10 in the fourth quarter versus Joe Flacco and the Cleveland Browns, and they still lost that game by 3. And it's like that team is still not good, man. Justin Fields, I was hoping this would be the time, Angela. I was really hoping that this would be the time in which he managed to get 3 games, all of them with over 3 consecutive games with over 200 yards passing. I was really hoping this would be the case, Angelo, but no. He again throws for under 200 yards. So he had 217, he had 223, and now he has 166 versus the Cleveland Browns. He has 2 picks. One of them is okay, was at the end of the game. The other, I don't really think it was totally on him. Still fumbled twice. I don't think that he lost them, but he did fumble. This is just the same old Bears. Give me Arizona +4 as well. This is not a team that you can trust in those closing moments. Okay, next up, it's the New England Patriots. This is the Sunday night football game. What a treat for Christmas Eve. The New England Patriots at the Denver Broncos. The Broncos are 6-point favorites. And for Christmas Eve, you know what they gave you on prime time on Christmas Eve, Angelo? They gave you the
Oh,
lowest
well,
projected scoring game on the week.
they
34
did.
and a half.
Merry Christmas from the
Yeah.
NFL.
What's that thing in the Home Alone movie? Merry Christmas. The guy on
Fucking
the
animal.
movie. Yeah, you fucking animal.
Ah,
Give me Denver -6, man. I'm not gonna be trusting Bailey Zappi. This is a bounce back spot for the Denver Broncos.
give me Bailey Zappi.
Oh, buddy. Oh, buddy, buddy, buddy.
The Las Vegas Raiders versus the Kansas City Chief. The Chief are favored by 10 points. Have they watched the Chiefs play offense? Give me the Raiders. 10 points is just too much. This should be closer to like a 3 or 7 point spread, like 3 or 4 point spread actually.
Can you imagine saying that a few years ago? 10 points for this Chiefs offense. What are they doing?
I
Okay,
mean,
yeah, I
you disagree with what I said?
no, I do not
Uh,
disagree with
uh,
what you've
okay.
said,
Okay.
but this is why I'm leaning the Chiefs here. This is a spot in which the Raiders come off of scoring 63 points. Emotions were high. This is a game in KC. The Chiefs usually tend to play Las Vegas at least one game pretty rough for the Raiders. The Raiders tend to keep up. I am not so sure this is too few points,
You're not?
but I want to believe in Nathan O'Connell, so give me the Raiders +10 as well.
This guy.
But this feels like a game in which I'm picking +10 right now. And when it comes to game time, I'm like, I am so dumb. And the Chiefs win by like 17. This feels like that type of game. This feels like I don't know. This feels like a 7-24 type of game.
You think so? I
Yeah.
don't know.
Like
I
they
mean,
score
the
63
Chiefs
one week and they come out flat the other one.
the Chiefs defense is very good. I will give it that. I
Yeah.
just 10 points though, like
Would you
I don't
be
know.
shocked if the Raiders, who scored 0 points the week prior to this of this Los Angeles Chargers game, would you be surprised if they come in to KC and they score 7 or 10,
Would I
like
be
tops?
surprised? No.
Yeah, yeah. Like they scored 0 points the week prior, zero.
Yeah.
It's, it's it's just rough, man. It's like I'm not sure if I want to trust that team. Like they scored 63, great. They had what, 5 fumbles lost by the other team, plus picks, like a pick six. I get it. The Chiefs' offense hasn't been great, but this feels like a big regret. But we'll move on. Then we have on Monday. We have 4 games on Monday, which is pretty impressive. It's just Christmas, baby. The New York Football Giants at the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles are 10.5 point favorites. Over under is 43.5. And I will surprise you with this one. I will pick the Philadelphia Eagles -10.5.
The frauds.
The
The
frauds. The frauds to cover this number because I think that they usually don't have the Giants usually don't have an answer for them. Or Table doesn't have an answer for them.
Give me the Giants.
You are going against your second best team
I
in the
am.
league. Okay. Okay, I see you. I see you. You can test the resolve in that pick. Okay, the Giants +10.5. Finally, the last game of the week.
Is
And
it?
this line surprised me. Yeah. At least for
This
me, it
line
is.
does not surprise me. This line should be more points.
More points.
More points. I said what I said.
Oh, buddy. More
I said what
points.
I said. Baltimore Ravens at San Francisco 49ers. The 49ers are given 5.5 points. Give me the 49ers to sacrifice the Ravens. Let's go.
You know what? Give me the Baltimore Ravens. Not
Uh
only
huh.
to cover this number,
Uh
but to
huh.
be the upset
Uh
of the
huh.
week.
Wow.
And I think low key, this might be the game that decides who the MVP is.
So after the 49ers sacrifice the Ravens, then Brock Purdy will just secure the MVP.
Yes. If that happens, then yes. That's what kinda what's that's just the narrative. That's just what it's gonna happen. But if Lamar Jackson wins this game, and right now Brock Purdy is minus 190, Lamar Jackson is plus 450. Those are the top two QB, top two MVP in terms of odds on DraftKings Sportsbook. If Lamar Jackson wins, he will be the MVP favorite. And they
I
will
mean,
have the
anyone's the
best
MVP
record in
first.
the league. You realize that the Baltimore Ravens will have the best record in the league if they win that game.
Yep.
They have the same record. Both teams have the same record.
Yep. I know. The Ravens have
And
been
one
playing
of them
amazing.
is 5.5 point favorites.
Yep.
That's wild to me.
Yep.
That should be a 3 point game at most.
They're about to get sacrificed.
I do not believe it. But we shall see. Well, everything is in the books, Angelo. We have gone
Everything
through the
is
whole
not in the
episode.
books.
Oh, there's
Everything.
there's 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 one more thing. You can go ahead.
There's there. Wait. What? There. What? What? What do you mean? There's one more thing. This is the holiday episode, Alex. This is the holiday episode.
What else is there that I'm missing, Angelo? Make me a surprise, Angelo.
Where was our this or that?
Oh, the this or that. Yes.
Yeah.
The this or that. Okay. Okay.
Where? Where? Who? Who?
Ooh.
Who? Who?
Okay, any ideas for the this or that?
Let's do MVP Brock Purdy.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, 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 okay. This or that for fantasy football, right?
Yep. For fantasy
Okay.
football.
Fantasy football. Super flex, toggled on. Let's look. MVP candidate. Brock Purdy is. Okay, so he's QB12 on Keep Trade Cut. He has been rising, steadily rising. He has gone what? In the last 3 months, he has gone from. Oh, where's oh, here's the positional ranking. Okay. So last 3 months, he has gone from QB 16, 17 to QB 12. So right now he's a QB 1. And I've heard a crazy argument that I'll make you right now. This or that. Brock Purdy or Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow.
Okay, okay. I was trying to get you with a few tiers up. Okay. Brock Purdy or Trevor Lawrence.
Oh.
Oh, whoa, 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 whoa.
Screw it. Brock Purdy.
Brock Purdy, baby. Brock Purdy over Trevor Lawrence. And to be frank, on the season, right now, stats wise, they are Brock Purdy is QB what, do you think?
I think he's QB 7.
Or QB4.
QB
So
4.
yeah, I think I would also take him over Trevor Lawrence, who's currently where is Trevor Lawrence? Trevor Lawrence is QB 11 on the year. So yeah. And let's spice it up. Another QB, and then I'll move to position to other positions. Brock Purdy or Tua Tagovailoa.
Tua is. I love Tua, but Tua is a concussion away from being done. Give me Brock Purdy.
Okay, so out of those guys that I mentioned, and I guess I'll mention one more that it's a favorite of mine that you usually don't like. Brock Purdy or Anthony Richardson.
Brock Purdy.
Okay, so out of those guys, how many do you think were ahead of Purdy? Keep track cut. Out of the four guys that I mentioned, Burrow, Tua, Lawrence, and Richardson.
I'm
How
gonna
many
say.
of those guys were ahead?
I'm gonna say 2.
All four were ahead of him.
All 4.
Yes. Tua is the closest. Tua is QB 10. Purdy is QB 12. Richardson is QB 8. Lawrence is QB 9. And Burrow is still QB 6. Okay, now Brock Purdy or Chris Olave.
Chris Olave.
Okay. Brock Purdy or Brees Hall.
Brees Hall. Stop this.
You went with Brees, really?
Yes.
Okay.
In Superflex? Wait, is this Superflex?
Yes. Yes, Superflex, yeah.
Oh, Superflex. That changes things.
Yeah. On both. So Olave, Brees.
I'm gonna go then
Superflex.
Purdy and Brees.
Okay. Um this is a fun one. I'm not sure if this assumes tight end premium. Yeah, it's off. So no tight end premium. Brock Purdy or Sam Laporta.
Oh, this guy. Brock Purdy.
Okay, okay. A few more, a couple more here. Brock Purdy or Christian McCaffrey.
Give me CMC.
Okay. Brock Purdy or Jameer Gibbs.
Oh, give me Brock Purdy in that scenario.
Okay. And finally, Brock Purdy or Tyreek Hill.
This is in Dynasty.
This is in Dynasty.
Give me Brock Purdy.
Okay, so out of those guys, keep trade cut as Brees Hall below Brock Purdy, and then every single other of the every single other player is ahead of Brock Purdy.
Really?
Yes, so that's Laporta, that's Olave, that's Gibbs, that's Tyreek Hill, that's Christian McCaffrey. All of them are ahead of Brock Purdy.
That's crazy.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And there's actually, if we just want to do one more for the Christmas special, is this or that. There's one that I was really shocked that it hasn't been adjusted by now. But James Cook. So James Cook is now on what? Like in regular scoring, James Cook last 3 games he has scored the following amount of points. Last 3 games he has scored 36.1, 25.1, 16. Every single game, he has gone over 100 scrimmage yards. In fact, this past week, he went over 200 scrimmage yards. And he's currently the running back 7 on the season. So, You haven't been the biggest James Cook fan, although as of late you liked him a bit better, I believe. You didn't like him a whole lot when he was drafted. That's fair, right?
That's fair. Yeah, that's a fair
Okay.
assessment.
So let me look at a few names around James Cook. So James Cook or Javonte Williams.
Oh, give me James Cook in that scenario.
Okay. James Cook or Josh Jacobs.
James Cook.
Okay. James Cook or Rasheed Rice.
Rasheed Rice.
Okay. James Cook or T. Higgins.
Mm. James Cook.
Okay. James Cook, and this was very interesting to me how these guys are ranked. James Cook or Kyron Williams.
James Cook.
Hey. James Cook or Drake London.
James Cook.
James Cook or Jackson Smith and Jigba.
JSN.
James Cook or his teammate from Seattle, DK Metcalf.
Mm. Let's go DK.
Okay. James Cook or Devon Achan.
James Cook.
Okay. Two more here to close it out. One is a running back, one is a wide receiver. James Cook or Travis Etienne.
Mm.
Etienne
James Cook.
started the season pretty hot, but has been cooling down as of late. So that's
Yeah,
James
give me James
Cook.
Cook.
And finally, James Cook or his Buffalo teammate Stephon Diggs.
Oh, James Cook.
Okay, so out of those players, and that was a pretty big list. Those were roughly what, 10 names, 11 names.
Yeah.
How many of them do you think were ahead of James Cook?
Uh, 7.
All of the names on the list were ahead of James Cook.
Really?
All of them.
Hmm.
And some by quite a bit. I mean, we're talking about tier 13 here. Kyron Williams, tier 10. Um,
Kyron Williams is 3 tiers above James Cook.
yes, Kyron Williams is running back 8.
Oh my god.
That screams to me, Sal.
That does scream to me, Sal, too.
It's like a fifth round pick with injuries who did pretty poorly in the combine. And I'm the guy who usually advocates for let's not give combine a whole lot of like props when these guys are deep in their careers.
Yeah.
But we have been labeling this guy as a non-existent, and now with a good season, we are sort of saying, okay, go on, you can be a top 10 running back in Dynasty. That
Uh,
feels like a reach. And finally, the highest tier of players, it's Achan or Travis Etienne. Both
yeah,
of them were tier 8.
I think HN is just I think he's way more hype than substance.
Yeah. I do wonder if it adjusts though. Due to the injuries, he has been cooling off a bit. I wonder if it adjusts. Because at his peak, he was running back 4. Right now, he's running back 6. So he's declining a bit, but not a whole lot. I feel like he should be a running back 20 or like late teens. I guess 20 is rough, but like teens, a running back in the teens. Like I would be okay with running back if they flipped. Like if James Cook and Devon A. Chain flipped, I would be okay with it. Like James Cook running back 6, A. Chain running back 14. That feels like a good spot. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree.
Okay. I thought James Cook was really interesting here because I was looking at his value. He hasn't really moved. I was hoping that maybe today he would move quite a bit because, as we discussed prior, this is just what have you done for me lately? And lately he
Yeah.
gave you almost 40 points in your first playoff game. But no, no movement. He's still the same. James Cook is running back 14 still.
Wow.
That seems low, especially when he was a second round pick. It's like we give so much focus to the draft picks, and it's like, oh, this one, not really.
I don't know, man. Man, that's crazy. So it feels like, does it feel like the people who break out like early in the season also get a like when the playoffs are around, I'm sure James Cook's value will like shoot back up. But is it like there's this delay between like breaking out and then value on keep trade cut because it's like it's based on fan voting. So it takes
Yeah,
longer for those value to get up.
yeah, I think that makes sense. Honestly, it's like just people are still adjusting, and some people didn't really like him a whole lot. It's like you weren't the biggest fan of him when he came out, and it was like he was a smaller back. He didn't do a whole lot to start the year. Last year, my bad. Now to start the year again, he was rough. I mean, he had a few good weeks. Then the rotation with Latavius. Then he had a few mistakes. Didn't play as well. Then he got benched for a while there. But now that since Joe Brady took over the play calling and the offensive coordinator duty, he seems to be doing much better. And he seems to be getting better opportunities. He seems to be still getting some touches inside of the 10. He is more involved in the passing game. And I mean, that is leading him to be a top 10 running back this year. Like for all of his downfalls, the dude has one, two, three, 4 games in which he gave you under 10 points. That's it.
Yeah.
Like Derrick Henry gave you much more than that. Henry gave you one, two, three, four. Actually, he just gave you 5. Yeah, my bad. He gave you 5. It feels more as someone who has been playing Henry this whole season.
I think. Do you think Tajay Spears will ever be a thing?
We've talked about it, and it's like under this current O line, I don't think anyone will ever be a thing, to be honest. Because
Yeah.
this O line is really rough.
Yeah.
Like, I believe I read a stat yesterday in which it was like, on average, Derrick Henry was being tackled behind the line of roughly 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage in every single carry. Like, on average, that's nuts. Like, sure, you're Derrick Henry and you are a pretty good running back. You're a bruiser running back, but you can't really do much when that happens. I mean, do you know his stat line from last game? Just so I can give you a guess.
No.
If you don't, okay. So a guy that like Derrick Henry, he had 20 touches, 16 carries, 3 catches.
Okay.
How many yards do you think he mustered out of 20 touches?
100.
He mustered 10 yards of offense.
10 yards?
Yes. It's zero point 0.5 yards per touch.
Jesus.
Yeah. It was a very rough game. And this was the Houston game. You remember I mentioned the Houston game quite a bit, that it was just one of his things. He did very well versus Houston usually. Not this year, apparently. And I do wonder if people will be scared of playing him any longer. Because I have him in Dynasty Nas. I'm currently thinking about benching him, but it depends on if Chase plays or not. If Chase plays, then okay, I have more options. If he doesn't, then it's rough. Then I'm benching him for I don't know. I'm benching him for a Kenneth Walker. I guess Kenneth Walker at Tennessee isn't too bad, but I'm benching him for Drake London after a dud.
Stop it. Drake London got you through me.
Yeah, he did, and I had the balls to actually bench him this week, like last second. I benched him
Yep.
for Jaden Reed.
Yep.
That won me the
After he
game, the
got you
week.
40 points, pretty much.
Yeah,
Oh,
and he was benched.
it's like you knew. You're getting
Yeah.
used to it. You're like, I know where the disappointments are coming from now.
Yeah,
I
I
got
was
this.
like, I was looking at the rankings, and I actually did what I said on the show. I was looking at the rankings, and most rankings had Drake London as the guy to play between Drake London, between Jaden Reed, or Tyler Lockett. But I just went with my gut, man. I was like, okay, it was between Lockett or Reed, because Lockett faces the Eagles, very depleted secondary. But I was like, okay, maybe Lockett doesn't have Geno again, so I'll play Jaden Reed. Tampa Bay has really been allowing a lot of things to wide receivers. Jaden Reed has been playing pretty well and has been getting a consistent amount of targets, especially with Christian Watson out. So just give me Jaden Reed, and it worked out. Drake London just felt like the guy who would disappoint this week because it's the Panthers. The Panthers have a sneaky strong defense, and I was sort of expecting the Falcons to still win. So I was expecting a game script of just like running the ball 40 times and not passing it a whole lot.
Little did you know it was running with Tyler Algier and throwing to Jonu Smith.
That was the issue there.
Yeah.
They did what I thought, but yeah, I mean, still, it's Drake London. Like, is Drake London a buy for you? Because when you think about Drake London, do you think he has had
Is
a
Arthur Smith ever
good
going to get fired?
season? Now, even with Arthur Smith, okay, because this is with Arthur Smith. Do you think Drake London has had a good season, a bad season, an average season? What do you think? Like, has he disappointed a whole lot when you started him or not? What would be your perception of him?
Yeah, probably. He's had a few good weeks.
So, what if I told you that Drake London, out of the. So, he played what? He missed a week, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he missed week 9 versus Minnesota. So he has had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 double digit weeks, with 2 of them being 20 or more points. Like, that's a solid season, isn't it? It's like
I guess so.
people are sort of brushing it aside as like, okay, this was a pretty down season. Yet he might still break 1,000 yards on on like receiving.
That's
He
crazy.
needs what? He needs roughly 230 yards across the last 3 games. It's not a given in this offense, of course. And the 172 really pushed it quite a bit. But yeah, it feels like maybe a buy low.
Hmm. Yeah, I think that's probably a good take
Hmm. Good to have you report on my good takes.
on your good takes.
Oh,
Oh, I think we're good. Ah,
yeah, I think we've gone over 3 hours now, haven't we?
yeah, probably.
Surely, yeah. Because I think we started roughly at 7 my time.
No, we haven't. We haven't. You took a little longer. We're 2 hours and some. But either way, it's good.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. Christmas special.
Christmas special because so we can spend time with our families. There will be no episode Thursday, guys. Sorry.
Just mixed both of them together. This is what you
Pretty
get.
much. Yep.
All right. Any closing marks here before I give us the outro?
Steelers suck.
As Angelo usually says, guys, there's a nice little fancy donate button right there that you can click to help us out. If you're listening on the podcast app, if you're listening on Spotify, just give us a 5-star review. Turn on the auto downloads. That helps as well, in case you didn't know. The 5-star review, as I usually say, and I know Angelo was about to catch me on this one, but we only accept 5-star reviews. That's it. Nothing else. We are a team of excellence here. This is what we strive for. We do not accept less. If you're listening on YouTube, just do all the regular things. You know them. You just give them a like. You just give the like a nice little comment to go with it. You subscribe to our channel, turn notifications on, and you just tune us in next week to know what more we talk about. This week was like how's the living in
Crazy.
Portugal. Next week, I don't know. Maybe we talk about geopolitics around the world. Who knows?
Or maybe it's movies again.
Maybe it's movies again. Maybe we just talk about another sport. Maybe we talk about basketball or baseball. I don't know nothing about baseball. Maybe we talk about the UFC, soccer. Who knows?
Prime.
Prime. Yeah, maybe we talk about Prime and all of the athletes that they've acquired because newsflash, they acquired Patrick Mahomes as a Prime athlete. That's a
That's
wild
crazy.
story for that company. Like I grew
That's
up watching KSI. I didn't give much of a thought about Logan. I knew he was from the Vine scene, but I grew up watching KSI, and man, that's a glow up. That's a rise. But yeah, guys, tune in next week to know what else we talk about. Have a nice Christmas. Hope you have plenty of presents. Hope you have a pleasant time with your family. And all the best to you guys. Cheers.
See you guys.